Yeah. This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Let's go!
We love Daniel Ricciardo. He's a good guy.
God, how quick was he going down Rockery Road then?
I know, mate. I know. It's like 50, isn't it?
Slow down. That's a 30 zone.
I know. It's a 30 even. Jeez.
30, Nathan.
Right. All right. Good to know, Shaun.
You've been driving up and down that road for the last 12 years. Sean.
Tell the CX-9 to go slow. I don't think so. I got it in sports mode.
20 horsepower. I don't know. So, look, he was at the French Grand Prix, right? He finished ninth and he was doing an interview with the press afterwards. Now, he appeared to be trying to pay his teammate Lando Norris a compliment after what was said to be a solid performance by the team.
Yep.
He thought that it would be just a little bit fun for him to speak to the Italian press in Italian.
Good thinking.
Now, unfortunately, he is not fluent, nor...
But his name's Ricardo.
I know.
He must be.
I know. And he used a word that has a variety of meanings depending on the context in which it's used.
Sure.
For any Italian people right now, wrap your ears around this.
Chi è Lando?
Sì.
Un stronzo, no?
No, non si dice, dai.
No? Non posso?
No, beh, se ti
Dai.
mettono un beep.
Sì, stronzo va bene.
No, non è
No?
carino.
Stronzo.
Non è carino.
Stronzo?
No.
Is it not a good word?
No, no,
Really?
no, no.
Okay, scusa.
No. It's a bad word.
Really?
Yes.
Like really bad? Okay.
Yes.
Scusa.
More bad than good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Stronzo, Nate. something
Stronzo
like-
translates to a-hole. So he called
He got that one.
Lando
on, I'm
Norris
just
an
writing that
a-hole
down.
several times. Several times in an interview. I'm not sure what word he was trying to use, but he didn't find the right one.
It sounds like someone stitched him up, doesn't
Yeah,
it? Like
I
where you
agree.
go,
It does.
yeah, no, that's the word for
does.
great bloke.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I tell you what, things can get lost in translation. I've
It's
got to
true.
tell you a story about Johnny. We know Johnny, and what happened with his mum. It was actually a traumatic day. So Johnny's grandfather was rushed to hospital, and Johnny's mum went with him as well. And they were really, really worried because he had an infection in his legs.
Yeah, righto.
Right. Now, Johnny's mum is Macedonian and English is her second language, so she hasn't got a complete grasp on it. She's an absolutely wonderful lady, and she was there and she sent a panicked text out to Johnny and the family saying, pray for Grandad, pray for him. The doctors have said that he only has 2 to 3 days to live.
Oh, jeez.
So Johnny, in a panic, gets in an Uber and gets straight down to the hospital just to see what the hell was going on. Johnny was so relieved to find out that she had misheard what the doctor had said because he said it in English, and the doctor had said that her father will be in hospital for 2 to 3 days.
2 to 3 days. Yeah,
Important
2 to 3 days to
distinction,
live.
So the whole Pavlov's family are praying.
Well, it worked.
And it went from 2 to 3 days to live to 2 to 3 days
Wow.
time spent in hospital is a big difference.
Jeez,
Yeah,
the
it
Lord
is,
delivered
isn't it?
pretty quickly then, didn't he? The big guy.
Yeah.
This is Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
We are sharing stories of certain things that get lost in translation because languages, they're bloody hard. Darren's in Kinross. Hey, Darren.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good,
Wonderful,
Daz.
Darren.
What happened?
So, I was doing a first aid course a few years back, and obviously you go through all the different scenarios, first aid, and excuse me. We got on talking about choking and how you sort of help someone if they've got something stuck in their throat and choking. And one guy sort of piped up and he said, "Yeah, someone's choking. What you want to do is hit them in the scrotum." So what he actually meant is you hit them in the sternum.
Was he really matter of fact, Darren, when he said it?
He was dead sure. Obviously, he's got his terminology wrong. So we all turned around and said, "Well, you might want to try that if they're unconscious, but if they're choking, you probably want to hit them in the sternum."
Now,
I reckon it would
I
still
don't know.
work,
Yeah,
to be
I'm
honest.
with you, Nat. Yeah, I think so, Nate. If I
What?
give you a quick whack in the old scrote.
oh, I know, definitely 2 balls will be coming out of my mouth.
I think they'd be more concerned if they woke up from being unconscious with a sore scrotum.
Oh, that happened to me once too. That's another story.
That is a concern.
Don't fall asleep at work, Sean. Okay, that's hilarious. Candace is in Waterloo. Hey, Candace.
Hi, guys. Good morning.
Oh, hi, sweetheart.
Candace.
All right,
What happened?
What do you got for us?
Well, this was back when my son was about a year old. He'd been unwell for a couple of days and was sort of on the mend. Hubby had gone to work, and I was about to go grocery shopping. And when we've gone out to the carport to put my baby in the car, unfortunately, my cat was dead at the front doormat. So I've rang my husband, absolutely distraught, beside myself, and he's in the car yard with 2 customers in front of him, and he's answered, and he thought I said, our son just died.
Oh,
God.
Candace.
And because I didn't want my son to see the cat, I've put him in the car and shut the door, and I'm standing there bawling my eyes out in the driveway, and my husband and his boss work was 5 minutes away. They've raced over together, not seen my son, just seen me in the driveway breaking down. And I'm just pointing at the cat, and that's when it sort of all came together.
Oh, my
You're
God.
and they're going, why is the cat dead too?
Poison both of them.
What had happened? Why is she worried about the cat? Where's my child?
Candace.
Was he
horrific tale.
traumatized when he got home? What was his state of mind?
He was. He was just numb. And when he sort of pictured what was happening, just this wave of relief. But obviously, he's quite a blokey bloke, my man. He shows no emotion, so it was all internalized.
Oh my God!
Oh, that would have been hectic.
You.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard, Candace.
Cat.
I mean, I'm sorry about your cat.
Oh no,
but
that
that's
is
a
terrible about
story.
the cat. But thank God your son's okay.
Oh.
Jen's in tapping. Hi, Jen.
Hi, how are you?
Good, Jen.
Oh, okay. We're
Jen.
loving these, Jen. What have you got for us?
So a few years ago, we were living in South Australia, and we came over to WA for school holidays.
Yes.
And my stepmom's name is Diane. So my kids call her Nana Di.
Yep.
And when we got back to South Australia, my husband took my kids to Kinder Gym, and they talked to the kids and were like, "Oh, did you have a good time in WA?" And Matt goes, "Oh yeah, we went over and saw Nana Di, didn't we, guys?" And so these ladies thought that my mum had died. So like 2 days later, I got a bunch of flowers from them. So sorry to hear about your mum. And I had to ring them. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Together and worked out. Yeah, no.
Nana died.
We went over and saw
Fine.
Nana
Nana
die.
died.
Not only did she die, but you made the children
And I was
watch.
like, why
which
would,
is,
I said to the ladies, why would he be so upbeat about it?
Yeah.
I know. Nana died, didn't we? Like,
Hey, the kids must have really hated the
we
grandma.
went over and went to Adventure World. Yes, that's up and about. Like we went over to watch Nana die.
yeah, we went and saw Nana die, didn't we? So, yeah,
Okay, that is so funny,
The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
guys. You love boats.
Love boats, Nath.
Love being out in a boat. Now?
I'm a boatie.
no, I'm ambivalent.
She's ambivalent.
She can swim underwater. Breathe underwater. It's amazing.
Okay.
I'm like once a year I'll go on a boat. You know what I mean?
All right.
Oh, yeah, I know that year.
All right. Well, Catherine Perkins.
Good day though, isn't it, Sean?
Catherine Perkins from Maryland in the US.
Yeah.
She likes boats, and she was out on a fishing trip with friends, just off the coast of Florida. She was having a wonderful time.
Awesome.
Probably wearing a flowy dress, or perhaps some white pants paired with.
I
a
think
blue
probably
top.
more white pants, a bit more practical.
You know?
when you're fishing.
Well, it depends what she was doing.
Well,
are you
I
saying-
mean, I don't know how heavily involved in the fishing she was, so let's go with pants. I'm glad we've settled that.
I like to put forward that she wasn't
I
wearing
think we
pants.
probably
What do you
need to
think
talk
she
about
was
it some
wearing?
more.
Well, I know you. You have fishing clothes.
I do
Set
have
aside.
fishing clothes.
And I don't believe they're good pants. And you have painting clothes. There's two different things. You have clothes to do things that require possibly getting dirt and they're not at the top of the wasser stuff. So
I'm prepared for
suggesting
fish
pants
guts
might be-
to get on. So you're thinking what, she'd have some dirty old trackies on?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
Well, that's controversial.
What do
It's
you
pretty
think?
hot there at the moment.
It
so
is. So do you
yeah.
think maybe some shorts, some denim shorts?
yeah, I think probably some
I'll go
shorts.
with
Okay, we're going to go
We
with
settle on
shorts.
A
that.
knee-length short.
Catherine was wearing some shorts on a fishing trip just off the coast of Florida. Things took a dramatic turn, guys. She was standing on the boat when suddenly a 45-kilo sailfish leapt out of the water and impaled her in the groin.
Whoa!
I mean,
with its pointed bill. Now, a sailfish, they're said to be around 3 meters. They can reach up to 100 kilos, just like swordfish.
So this was just a small one then?
Yeah, just like swordfish, they feature extended pointed bills. So it's basically like
Yeah, it's a machete off the end of your nose.
Yeah, it's like a spear.
Yeah, spear.
Yeah, it's a spear, and it went right into her groin.
Now she's okay, right?
No, she's dead. No, she's okay.
Well, that's the problem. It's the risk of hitting the femoral artery there and bleeding out is very high.
I know, especially for a woman, her femoral artery. Her 2 friends immediately applied pressure to the wound until they docked an hour later, where fire rescue officials attended. She was taken to a local hospital. While her condition remains unknown, she's said to be in hospital recovering. So the 2 friends were trying to pull the fish in on a fishing line to take a photo, because I think you're supposed to release the sailfish.
Yeah, you do in a lot of cases, and they might have been sport fishing at the time as well.
Yeah. I'm kind of on the fisher's side here, though.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you know what? Like, if in order for someone to say, "Hey, Nathan, can I take a photo with you?" they're going to hook something in my mouth and drag me over to them. I'm not going to be happy.
And if you've got a giant knife for a nose, you should be allowed to use it.
Yeah.
Now, knowing that her 2 friends were pulling the fish in, I am going to say they were all wearing shorts.
Okay, I'm glad that's settled.
I'm 100% behind you with that comment.
It's the groin, really, isn't it? To be impaled by a pointed fish anywhere would be terrible.
Yes.
But it's the groin area is the one that you go, groin or the brain.
Because if it was just in the leg, we wouldn't be talking about it.
No.
Groin, eye, brain, yes.
Yeah. We want to talk about your groin, right?
Your groin specifically.
What's the worst thing that's gone on in your groinal region? It wasn't fun.
Sean?
I've got some good stories, but here's a couple of bad ones. One guy I played footy with, DB, he was coming back from injury. He had to go back to Perth Football Club in the Waffle to be able to, just get a bit of fitness to be able to play with us the following week. So he was in the ruck contest, and the opposition player accidentally got his footy boot knocked him right in the Jats crackers. Anyway, so DB after the game was in a lot of pain, so they end up taking him to hospital. He ended up spending about 2 weeks in hospital.
Why?
And his balls... I thought I'll have to think about another word. No, I'm just going with it. So anyway, they swelled up like a couple of massive mangoes, and he got his mobile phone, and back in the day he probably had like a Nokia, and he put his mobile phone next to his balls.
So a Nokia 3310?
Yeah, and these mangoes dwarfed the
Nokia 3310, the one where the cover came off.
Yep, and here's the kicker. So apart from them being enormously swollen, he had to have a drain put in.
Oh.
I mean, it's not great, is it?
No.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean.
We're having an important discussion about things that can go wrong in your groin area.
Yes, not good. A woman named Catherine who was wearing shorts on
We think.
boat.
Could have been a skort. We don't know.
We don't know.
Is she? Sorry, I didn't know that she was 70.
Yes. Well, what we do know is a sailfish, which is one of those fishes with like the really like big pointed nose, like it's like a javelin, went through her groin, and we thought, well, that's bad. So people are about to tell us what went wrong with their groinal areas. Hello, Lauren.
Hi.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Was it your groin or was it another person's groin?
No, it was mine, and it was very painful.
Tell us everything.
Great. I mean, sorry, tell us all about it.
You know the metal gates that go around the kids' park?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was about, somewhere between 10 and 13, and I was showing off in front of my friends, and I was like, I'm really good at balancing, I can do this. And I was walking, and I slipped, and I pretty much did the split
honey, no.
and landed on my groin on the metal gate.
No.
Highly recommend not doing it.
Okay, noted.
Did you just sort of like slowly fall off the side and hit the dirt?
Yeah, my parents come and pick me up from the park. It was like only round the corner from my house. But, oh my goodness, I still remember the pain to this day. And I see kids walking on the gates, and I'm like, guys, get off.
Yeah, you know what's going to... The only worst thing that can happen then is if you had to get taken to the doctors.
Yeah,
Because
you've got to explain
Oh,
that.
like you've got to take your pants off.
Yeah.
What's happened here? No, not good, Lauren. Let's go on to
thank
Katie.
you. Thank you for your experience,
Yes,
Lauren.
and warning to others. Katie's in Hillary's. Hey, Katie.
Morning, guys.
Hi, Katie.
All right.
Hi, Katie.
What happened to you?
Well, my story is an 80s story.
Yeah. Okay, great. We're there.
Great.
All right.
I was about 18, just sort of got my first serious boyfriend, and it was the 80s, and it was the introduction of the G-string babies.
Yes, okay. Well, they're big at the moment.
What a time to be alive, Katie.
Yes, I was very excited to get my first pair, and I thought, I don't want that white triangle for my boyfriend, like I really thought it'd be best to get an all-over tan to wear them.
Yes.
Yes.
So I whipped them off one day at home and went out the back. Had a bit of a big night the night before.
Yeah.
And fell asleep. And I woke up and I've never seen red. So I did. That red, and I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And I was in agony, and it ended up blistering. And my dad had to take me to the doctor.
Oh, there we go.
No,
That's an
it wasn't
awkward
so. You know
conversation.
when you hurt yourself so much, you have to show your parents.
Yeah, I couldn't walk. But my bits was that I've never been so sore, and couldn't go to uni or anything. I was that embarrassed with my boyfriend, and then of course, like, I had to bath every night to soothe it. And of course, about a week later,
Yes.
the itch started because
What, you're peeling or something?
I was peeling, yeah.
Peeling in your groin, Nate.
Yeah. So all my bits were peeling, and it was so hard out in public to try and not scratch it.
Katie, this has got it all.
Oh,
Katie.
It's got it all. We feel every bit of it too.
That was a journey.
I
Yes,
think
it was.
so far we've had two wonderful warnings.
That's great warnings. That's
These
great
are cautionary
Yes,
tales,
that's
aren't
right,
they?
everyone. Slip, slop, slap, as they say.
You're listening to Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Okay, there is a very, very interesting and I would say laugh out loud article this morning in the West Australian that has been done by Chief Reporter Ben Harvey. Hello, Ben.
Morning, everyone.
G'day,
What,
Ben.
Ben?
Ben, I firstly have to say I love all of your work.
Nathan's a big fan.
I think you're so funny.
You and my mum.
Great judges, as it turns out.
I love your take on things, especially when you were going through. I can't remember who it was, but one of the a recent bikie, a little while back actually, he was selling his house, and then you went on a rant about how he has Smeg appliances.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was Dane Brakovich, the man that just got a swastika tattoo on his face. He's
I did
an
see
angry,
that.
angry man.
So he had like a
He's got Smeg
he had
appliances.
like a Smeg kettle and a Smeg toaster. And
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
think that's
I was
really
like,
hilarious.
That's better decked out than I am. I'm on the Kmart stuff. And he's got European goods.
I remember seeing him on a flight one day, Ben, and he said g'day to me, and I think you got to say hello back, otherwise you can
Yeah.
get a headlock before you know
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. No, you always say hello back. Otherwise, you sweat every time you turn your car
That's
on.
right.
I really love your take on bikies, actually, because I always wonder, if they're having a party, do they ever bring chips in a dip? Like
You get to the bottom of things.
yeah,
Ben.
you do. So tell us what's happened in prison and what it has to do with the soccer match.
Well, this was at Wooroloo Prison Farm,
Yeah.
and it was on May 28th. And it was the UEFA Grand Final between Liverpool and Real Madrid. And a bunch of bikies who were inside, including some pretty heavy characters. We're talking the former state commander for the Comancheros and some, a rebel who set another dude on fire because he didn't do what he wanted him to do. And then when he doused him out with water, he waterboarded him. It was pretty full on.
You know what that's terrible about that? That's a lot of fire and then too much water afterwards.
I know.
Afterwards.
It's an extreme life.
Yeah.
It's an extreme life in the 1%.
And
Anyway,
my favourite one, who is the lesser of all the crimes, of attempting to smuggle 9.5 million cigarettes into WA.
yeah, well, he was the clean skin of the crew.
Yeah,
he
wasn't
was
he
like
just?
a junior.
Yeah.
They decided they wanted to watch the grand final. It kicked off at 2:30 in the morning, and they went to the prison bosses and said, "Is it okay if we do this?" And bizarrely, the prison bosses went, "Okay." And so at 2:30 in the morning, they came out of their cells, they went to a common area, and they had themselves a little soccer party, and they were allowed to stay out until 5:30 in the morning, according to the documents I saw. And this is the thing that kills me.
Yeah.
It said, however, if there's a playoff, they can stay out till 6.
So if it went to penalties and
Penalty
extra
shootout and
time.
extra time.
That's right. That's right. In the end, it didn't go out to penalty, so they actually had to be back in time for muster at 5:30 in the morning. I don't know if they were Liverpool fans or if they were Real Madrid fans, but, you know, when you're in jail, that's not a bad way to spend an evening.
Oh,
Not
mate.
too bad
And
at all.
Not just that, as we know, when anyone is having a bit of a soccer party, of course, the catering is in question. Did they get to go to the commissary, and was there, or did they have to BYO their own toilet vodka?
Well,
what
the
happened?
thing about Wooroloo is it's a prison farm, and
Yes.
so they make all their own stuff. It's all
Oh.
organic, and I'm quite certain that there would have been some homemade hummus or something like that.
Oh,
on
no
the
doubt,
table
some
while
carrot
they were
sticks.
enjoying it.
So it's
Yeah,
like the MasterChef compound when they just run
Yes.
out into the herb gardens and stuff and just grab some things.
Now, Ben, your article says that the Corrective Services Minister, Bill Johnson, said it helped the prisoners get ready for release. Now, how does sitting up all night watching soccer prepare them for release?
Well, this is Bill Johnson, the Corrective Services Minister. He's in between a rock and a hard place here because he knows that this does not pass the pub test in any way, shape or form for anyone, let alone some, you know, between them these bikies were either conspiring to or actually did import industrial quantities of methamphetamine into Western Australia.
Well, then
So
they
he
can stay
knows
up
that-
late, can't they, quite easily?
I hadn't slept all night, hadn't slept for 3
Yeah,
nights.
then they clean the place down in about 5 minutes.
So he should come out and bag it and say it's inappropriate, etc., etc. But he knows that if he does that, he's going to get the prison bosses offside. He doesn't want that.
Yes.
And he also realises at the end of the day, these guys, despite the severity of their crimes, have been assessed as low risk.
Yep.
And at some point soon, they are going to come out of jail. And when that happens, I am going to tell them that you made me write that story.
You want to hope so. Hey, Ben, given there are at the Wooroloo as a prison farm,
Yeah.
stuff like this, watching the soccer and doing that, is it unusual though?
It is. This is very unusual.
Okay.
So they do have, the idea is when you're in the prison farm, you are living quite a normal life. You're going to work every day and you are allowed to have certain things as a reward for doing the right thing. This is unusual because these particular people are seen as enforcers in the jail.
Yeah.
And the idea is, the suggestion is, the prison is so understaffed and it's on such a piano string that they rely on these guys to maintain order, and they were. Because let's face it, if the one-time state commander of the Comancheros Outlaw Motorcycle Gang comes up to you and says, pull your head in,
Yes.
you're going to pull your head
Yeah,
in.
true.
So they're sort
true.
of like the student council
Yes.
of the yard, aren't they, really?
Yeah, they were like the prefects.
Yeah, wow. I just feel sad because I am
prefects.
all for prisoners given opportunities like this. I really am. But for all prisoners. I just think, like, you know, like if you're going to let, you know what, can't everyone come to the soccer party?
Yeah, most
Well,
definitely.
that's the thing. You know, I don't think that they were the only people that wanted to.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the NBA finals were on at the same time. So.
Yeah.
Turns out prison isn't a classless society.
Yeah. I just hope they all get to watch maths and stuff together, you know? I really hope.
Well, I would say they're suffering enough in prison, Nathan.
As I was going to say, you watch maths when you've done something wrong.
Hey, Ben, whenever you learn a release date of prisoners like this, do you start looking at different places to live?
It's funny, not funny.
Ben, the question, I mean, I know that as a quality journalist, you're probably not going to reveal your sources, but how did you find out about it?
Well, I'm not going to reveal those sources.
'Cause we're both
Let's
our
just say
lives in
that
danger.
there are 7,000 prisons in Western Australia across 18 different facilities, and there are many thousands of people who look after them. So there's no shortage of people who know what's going on.
No,
Yeah,
mate,
for
I know
sure.
your
And how
game.
many have your number?
No, I know your game. I know for sure
Everyone's got my number.
if you go to Ben's house right now, there's a scarecrow outfit. And he goes and stands in the garden and just observes. You are bloody funny, and we want you on more often because I love every.
And also a
report
quality
that he does.
journalist.
No, that was a great
Quality
story.
journalist. I
Enjoyed it.
love that little sort of tagline.
Yeah.
Bloody funny and a quality journalist.
Yeah, that's right. It's a great combination. Don't knock it. Thanks for talking to us,
Yeah,
Ben.
and watch your back.
No worries, guys. I am.
Ben Harvey from the West Australian.
And we were the last person to ever speak to him.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun in podcast form.
We're talking about, well, keeping it in the family, basically.
That's right. I don't know if you followed Neighbours, but I dipped in last night. And Izzy, who had a relationship with Dr. Carl, an affair with Dr. Carl back in the day, has now moved on to his son, Malcolm.
That affair produced a child, if I remember correctly, which means that Malcolm is now both the half brother and the stepfather of that kid.
So then Susan should get with the child?
Yeah, that only makes sense now.
How does that work out mathematically? She would
Not
be
well.
She's not related to the child. So it's fine by blood.
That's right. It's fine.
There you go. Funny on for another season. Had it pegged.
Emma's in Mandurah. Hi, Emma.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Emma.
We're talking about being in a relationship with more than one member of the same family. What have you got for us?
So ours is a bit awkward because it's still in the family. So my partner's actually been with my sister-in-law, who is currently engaged to his brother, and she has also been with the cousin as well.
I mean...
What an attractive family.
God, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's right. She can't get
You
enough.
know what? When it's so hot that you don't have to leave your own family function.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I
right.
mean? It's like, I'll just get someone out. Okay, so is it awkward at all? How did it all happen?
It was a very small town that they all grew up in, so I guess there were small pickings in that town. It was pretty awkward when I found out, because I found out once my partner and I had been dating for a little bit, and he accidentally brought up that he'd been with his sister-in-law. Who we were currently living in the house with. So
That's a conversation,
How do you
isn't it?
accidentally bring that up, Emma? Just thought it was funny, or?
yeah, a little bit. So it was a bit naughty. So obviously, I was one girl that had been the first to do something with him, and then he had actually mentioned that his sister-in-law had done it to him as well.
Okay.
And that's
I would
playing
suggest
Scrabble.
That's not the way to bring it up.
That is so
Yeah, definitely
funny,
not.
Em.
Wow, Em, thank you.
Yeah. Has the awkwardness now subsided and it is what it is?
Yeah, we laugh about it now, and they've got a kid together. So I said to my partner, I can't wait to tell him that their uncle and mum have been together.
I know. Welcome
Beautiful.
to the Jerry Springer Show.
There
Thank you,
go.
Emma.
That works.
Adele, hello.
Hello.
Hi, Adele.
Hi, Adele.
What have you got for us?
Well, I have two children with one brother, and I'm now married to the younger brother and have two children with him.
Well, you're living this. You're living this.
So the cousins...
They're uncles and cousins.
So the cousins are cousin brothers?
No, they're two brothers.
No, the
Yes,
children.
so-
The children would now
Yeah,
be
the children, yes.
cousin
So my
brothers.
children, yes, are cousins as well.
So they're cousin brothers.
Cousin half brothers.
Pardon, sorry?
Cousin half brothers, yeah.
Cousin
Yeah.
half brothers,
Yeah.
your children are.
Yes. Yes.
But also the dads are uncles to the other half of the kids.
So uncle fathers.
Yes.
Adele, how's the relationship between the two brothers?
It was okay, but we don't talk anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
All right, so how
Because of
So-
this?
so-
how did that all happen? How did it happen?
Well, I had one child with one brother,
Yeah.
and I was pregnant with the second one
Yeah.
when he decided to stray elsewhere.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
So then the younger brother decided to step in and raise the two older children, and then 5 years later we just had another child. Well, we had a child of our own.
Wow.
Oh, so the
Yeah.
younger brother
Bit of a-
decided he's going to step up and help you out.
And then
he
you
helped
realise
out.
what a great guy he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow.
We were talking about this off air.
We just
about
were
that
talking about that when a brother steps in and steps up to
Yes.
the plate, usually when someone's passed.
Yeah, that's right.
And I said, I think that's super sweet, and I think that's really lovely too. What's a father like? Any good?
No.
I was going to say, it's good to have options.
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
We've posed the question, do things that happen on Ramsay Street and Neighbours happen in real life too?
Yeah, you see, Dr. Carl years ago had an affair with a woman named Izzy, and now Izzy has rocked back up to Ramsay Street from last night's episode, and she is with Dr. Carl's son, Mal.
What? Nat Bass?
Yeah, Tegan's in Perth. Hi, Tegan.
Hey, how are you?
Good, Tegs.
We're
What have
loving
you-
these.
What have you got for us, Tegs?
So, we have a group of friends, and
I found out that I had been with one of the guys that my sister had been with, because obviously he bragged to your sister. And yeah, she's like, I'd already been with him. So, and we're twins.
Oh.
Did he realise he'd been with both of you, or did he think he'd just been with one of you?
He did. He
Okay,
had
just
to.
checking.
So that's a bucket list situation for some men, isn't it, Sean? To tick
So
off
they
twins.
say. Not for me.
Yeah. Oh, no, you don't like any of that sort of stuff. So did it progress any further, or was it just a hookup?
No, it's pretty much just a hookup, but we're all still pretty good friends.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, that's okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he would be loving himself sick over that.
You know what? Yeah, you know what, though? Wouldn't it be so frustrating for him if you had a triplet that lived overseas? He's like, I want to get the set. I want to get the set.
Thanks, Tegan. Fiona, hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hey,
Fiona.
Fee. All right, what have you got for us?
So my mum and dad were together for about 15 years, and he actually left my mum for her sister.
Okay, so wait there. Again?
So my mum he left my mum for her
sister.
sister, so my auntie,
no.
and pretty much was with her for 30 years. They only broke up, which was the best thing that happened about a year ago, but yeah, pretty much destroyed our family.
Was your mum just devoed?
Yes, she was devastated.
So did it cause a rift between the two sisters?
Oh yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
massive.
He
Okay.
punched
I could
hard.
imagine.
Yeah, lots of things happening.
But your dad ended up being with, your auntie for 30 years. Around 30
Yeah.
years.
Wow.
So that is a love story.
So did she
It is,
become?
you can't
Did she
deny that.
become your auntie mum?
No, she becomes something that I probably can't say on air.
We probably say that off air. We'll say it for you. So your relationship with your father, how did that go?
Yeah, it was a bit crazy for a couple of years, but now that he's not with her, we've we've got a relationship now, which is good.
Wow, that is so full on. And how did your mum end up? Did she end up going on and finding someone else?
No, unfortunately not. She's got really quite bad health problems and stuff.
No.
since everything happened. So hopefully karma will get her one day.
No
Yes.
wonder you were super protective over that situation.
Yeah, of
then,
course
you
it would
know?
be, wouldn't
so,
you?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Full on.
Thanks so
Fee.
much.
Got another one to wrap things up.
What about Dino from Wanneroo? Hey, Dino.
Yeah, hey, how y'all doing?
Oh, Dino.
Good, buddy.
We're
All right.
excited.
We're ready. Hit us with it.
Right, well, it's not quite incestuous. But
Thank you.
Okay,
See you,
it,
mate.
Dino.
Where?
No, we're in. We're looking forward to it, Dino.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So, okay, my brother, I think he's got a little bit of Elton John, Rod Stewart complex. He thinks he can just keep having kids all his life.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, he's got 3 daughters, and they've all had kids. So, his grandkids,
Yep.
and then he decides, like, 15 years later, I'm just going to have some more kids.
Yeah, okay.
So now his kids are the younger, by about 3 or 4 years, the younger uncles and aunties to their older nieces and nephews.
Yes.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
I love this scenario, Dino, because one of my mates growing up, my really good friends, he was younger than his auntie and his aunties, and they were both we're all in the same year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah, wow.
he was the youngest out of all of them. He was born later in the year, but his aunties were in the same
Yeah.
year as him.
No, his nieces.
His
Nieces.
He was the uncle.
He was the uncle, yes, and his nieces were in the same
Yeah.
year as him. It was
I think that happens a bit.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. So do you reckon your brother's just going to keep on having children?
Oh, God, I hope not.
Oh my
You know,
God.
How many are we up to now, Dino?
He's got 6 now.
And what are the ages?
Okay, so 35
Yep.
down to 28, 30. They're all in their 30s.
Yep.
Then the grandkids are 12s and 13.
Yep.
Yep.
Then his kids, the uncles and aunties, are 7s and 8s.
And the fresh ones.
And so I'm wondering how it's going to work out later on when they say, respect me because I'm older than
Yes,
you.
this is your uncle speaking. You do what I say. It's
Isn't
like,
it?
but
My uncle,
you're 6 years
yeah.
younger than me.
No, they'll just be mates. Because they're in the same age.
It's pretty funny, isn't
area.
it?
Can I just say, how frustrating for women to have a biological clock that's ticking
Yes.
as loud as possible, and men can
keep going
produce
forever.
children until the day they die.
Ali was talking about this in the newsroom
Oh,
about
really?
20 minutes ago.
If there was any fairness in the world, it should be a stage where men, just
Yes. Just dries up.
powder comes out.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
This is the week to party.
Well, party or mourn, Nathan.
No, let's party. It's a celebration.
It's to celebrate everything that Ramsay Street has given us over our entire lives. And we want to welcome to the show the man that we trust with our very lives. He plays Dr. Carl Kennedy, and his name is Alan Fletcher. Hey, Alan.
Good morning, guys. Great to speak with you.
Alan, hey, how big's
bittersweet.
the week's been amazing, hasn't it? There's been so much promo and so much talk, and everybody's talking about their favourite loved characters over the journey.
They are. They're talking about all those past characters coming back, which the audiences are thrilled by. And we've got this beautiful blend of all the 80s people coming back to finish the show off with us, plus, others from the 90s and the 2000s. Just a glorious celebration of a beautiful show that people have loved for so long.
How does it feel, Alan, for you and, of course, your on-screen wife? How does it feel for both of you to be the reigning king and queen of Neighbours? Because that's what it feels like you are.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. The thing about Neighbours, of course, is it's such an ensemble. It always has been. And, everybody is equal contributors to the show. People who have been on the show for 3 months contribute as much to the program as someone who's been there for 28 years.
Have they, though, Alan? Have they?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, they have. I mean, it's really interesting, actually, to see how the work is handed around at Neighbours. It's very evenly handed. People have big stories and then they go quiet for a bit. So it's when the wonderful sense of family that exists in our show is genuine, and it's really, really important to the creativity. It's some of the best work is on air right now. I encourage people, if they haven't seen Neighbours for years, or if they've drifted away from it, come back and watch these last episodes because they're really quite remarkable.
Hey, Alan, do you think you'll be lost in a sense? It's been such a long time that you've been involved with, and I know for us, right, coming to work, we've all been working here for quite some time. You get in autopilot, right? So you just jump in the car and then you know where to be. You do your thing.
You know what your day's going to be like.
So
interesting that, because for me, I'm going to ease myself out slowly. I do have a Dr. Carl in Conversation show, which I'm doing around the UK for a month in September.
Awesome.
Wow.
There's also a huge Neighbours Farewell Tour, which I'm hoping will also be done in Australia back in March next year, which is a massive stadium-style show. So Neighbours isn't completely finished for people. There will be opportunities to join with us to celebrate the show.
You deserve to milk it, Alan, to be honest. You've put that bigger part of your life into it. You deserve to milk it.
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, it means so much to me. It would be tragic, I think, to say, okay, we're just going to put it all in the filing cabinet and pretend it didn't exist. In fact, it's much better, I think, just to sort of finish it off with some great celebrations.
The Dr. Carl in Conversation show, that sounds very interesting to me. So let me get this straight. Because I'm thinking it might keep you busy for a few years. You're handing out medical advice to people, and then there'll be the lawsuits following.
Exactly. Everyone must bring their Medicare card to the show.
He does do bulk billing.
The show is actually 2 10-minute halves with a 2.5-hour interval.
I love it, Alan. Hey, Alan, on that though, playing Dr. Carl for all the years, have you learnt much medical jargon? No. And do you understand stuff?
Yes, I can say angioblastic T-cell lymphoma and know what it means, but that's about it. See, I've shocked you, haven't I?
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, no, it's Alex Kinski had that particular condition and sadly passed away the day that he married Susan Kennedy.
Excuse me. As a doctor, you shouldn't be revealing his medical records. They're private.
That's true. Patient confidentiality. What was I thinking?
I couldn't believe you. You're out of control, mate. No wonder the show's been taken off air. Hey, I want to know, Al, when your storyline of when you cheated, right, on Susan, we know a lot of people that are so into soaps sort of take it to the world of real life. Was there backlash from fans against you during that time?
Oh, I'm pleased to say no, because, of course, famously, the Vivian Grey, who played Mrs. Mangle, actually left the show because she copped so much flack for her gossiping. Mercifully, people have a good grounded sense of reality about Alan Fletcher versus Dr. Carl. So I've never actually ever received any nasty treatment. Lots of joking treatment, though. Young blokes going, yeah, legend, and older people waving their finger at me and going, yeah, tut, tut, tut. But it's all in good fun. And I think that's the great thing about shows like Neighbours is the audience gets so into the show, but at least there's all a healthy detachment in there.
Now, Alan, we know obviously Neighbours has been a springboard for many people to go on to amazing things, but the thing that amazed me still is when Eddie Redmayne, in his Oscar speech, gave a shout out to Neighbours as the inspiration for him. That must have been a fairly amazing moment for you.
It was very, very generous of him. It was actually a Nine reporter from Australia asked him about Neighbours, and he said some very kind words about Jackie and I. And that's incredible of him. When I go to the UK, as I do frequently, in fact, I've just come back. This is the thing, you can be talking to somebody who's a minister in the government, and they go, "Oh, do you mind if I just get a photograph? My wife would kill me if I didn't get a photograph with you." The show permeated every level of British society, and of course here in Australia for a very long time as well. It was so loved by so many people from every different strata and age group, and it's a joy to be part of something like that, because it just means that I basically, when I walk down the street, I've got a lot of people who want to say hi and thank you.
You're almost like an Australian cricketer in that sense, Alan, because between here and anywhere in the UK, you're as famous as anybody walking down the street.
Well, that's very nice. I can't bowl, but can't bat, can't bowl. But it's very kind to say. It's a great joy, really, and people underestimate what opportunities a show like Neighbours presents for people, and so many people have gone on to be stars because Neighbours trained them so well that their walk up starts to be very famous.
I've read a lot of articles about the last week of Neighbours, Al, and this one comment underneath the article really got me. It's amazing. This person says, "Almost every Victorian has been involved in Neighbours in one capacity or another. Even my dog got run over by Margot Robbie in a storyline, of course. It's been fantastic employment for so many. It's sad to see it go. So not only, have you provided entertainment for years and years for Australians, but also
a lot of employment.
It seems like a lot of employment. A lot of locals really got behind it."
Oh, you bet. That last day of filming, there would have been 200 people in the studio, I suspect, all of whom were employed by Neighbours to make the show. There's a lot of people tossed out of work, and we shouldn't forget that. And we shouldn't forget just how many great Australian filmmakers, overseas and here, were trained at Neighbours and learnt their craft there, and including the actors and crew. So, it's a very, very special program, and I think it will hold a place in television history forever.
Well, everyone, Natalie Bassingthwaite, Kylie Minogue, Jason Donovan, Guy Pearce, Carla Bonner, Kim Valentine, there's Delta Goodrum, Jesse Spencer, Margot Robbie. The names keep piling up for who is going to be on this last week of Neighbours, so you do not want to miss it.
And the last episode is Thursday night on Channel 10, 7:30. So make sure you're watching. It is a little piece of Australian TV history. And you're a part of it, Alan. Thank you so much for talking to us today.
Great pleasure, guys. Thank you.
Good on you.
Bye, Al.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.